Hello and welcome to this short video from Mark My Words in the experience section. So in this one I'm going to tell you about the implementation process and the training process for the company that is developing TV apps. And the company is based in Netherlands. So the company initially reached out to us asking for a live training, but after knowing the prices, they figured that actually it will be more interesting in terms of finances for them to go with the pre-recorded training and supplementing it with the implementation consultancy. So instead of taking the whole week to do the training and the implementation, they actually decided that they are going to buy the pre-recorded training, give the training to their project managers 1 month prior to my visit. And then when I will come there, they will already have a good understanding of the tool, allowing us to effectively work together to teach me about their company and their processes and their requirements, and then together figure out what is the best setup that will serve their purpose and also fulfill their requirements. So I flew to them for 2 working days. And these were very interesting, hard-working 2 days, but we've managed to achieve quite a lot during that time. Now, here are the challenges that we had to face when I visited them. So first of all, they have already been using Jira in their environment for quite a long time, and they didn't want to change a lot in their Jira processes. So we were a little bit bounded by the configuration of the existing configuration of their Jira instance. That's for once. The second of all, some of the users that were supposed to be using BigPicture later on after the implementation process, well, they already knew that most of them are not going to be very often users of BigPicture, so they wanted to make things as simple as possible and yet addressing all the requirements. So that was another challenge that we had to face. They also wanted to have a global view of their whole portfolio of projects. So they had several projects going on inside their country and outside of their country, some of them for really big clients, and they wanted to have a really good view of what was happening in which project and what's the status, what's the progress of it, and if it needs any help or not, right? Because that's an important information for every project manager, I guess. They also had some teams working in Agile, some teams working in Waterfall, and they wanted to connect successfully those 2 words, especially in this one big project where they didn't want to use too many different items, too many different issue types. So they kind of wanted to reuse what was already there. And that was another challenge, but it's actually a little bit less complicated than it might sound. And also they wanted to manage successfully the resources across all of those teams. So they had people working at the same time in many different projects, and they were looking for a way to be able to manage that, to be able to move the people around with the full information of what this actually means for other projects, the projects that these people are involved in, and how it's going to impact the dependencies and so on, right? So an interesting thing to consider, definitely. And last but not least, they have also been using tempo plugins for Jira, and they wanted to integrate with them. So for those of you that are a little bit more familiar with BigPicture, you probably already know that to fulfill the last requirement, at least the last requirement, and maybe the last 2 actually, they actually needed to have BigPicture Enterprise as well, because BigPicture by itself wouldn't be enough to, for example, integrate with Tempo. So obviously we had to go with BigPicture Enterprise, and prior my arrival to them, we've already established that they need to acquire the license because we will be working with that second plugin. Now, in a result, we've managed to create quite a robust and useful template for them to use. And we went for the template because I actually like going for this, because it allows us to create a configuration that, even if complicated, can be easily copied to a new BigPicture program, so that it allows new users to quickly create a new program, and they don't have to remember about going to all of those settings and creating them, creating quick filters, creating column views, creating structure builders or synchronizers, and so on, right? So this was really, really helpful, and we've put a lot of effort into that, and they were very happy that we did that. Additionally, we've also successfully connected the Agile and Waterfall world with using the Agile items mostly. So, it's not a big deal, because if you're using an epic in an Agile world, you can also make this epic mean something in your Waterfall world, and it can be something entirely different, but then you also want to make it consistent, right? So we tried to make it as logical as possible without adding too many additional issue types, too many additional levels of hierarchy, and I think we successfully managed to complete that. We've also figured out the best way to manage the resources. That was quite challenging, because they had some specific requirements that some of them actually couldn't be addressed with BigPicture. BigPicture was just not flexible enough to do that. But they still liked the tool so much that they decided to do some of the things that they were doing in a little bit different way and still achieve more or less the same goal. So in the end, we ended up with the configuration that everybody was happy with. During the last hours of my visit, we shared the whole configuration with the whole team so that everybody is on board, everybody knows what's going on, everybody knows how to use it, and so that the adoption process will go smoothly. All in all, a fantastic visit to Netherlands. I will definitely remember this one. First of all, for wonderful people that I've met. Second of all, for quite an interesting weather that I've seen over there, and also for amazing restaurants available in Amsterdam. Hope you liked this one, and see you in the next video. Cheers.